it's Mrs. Blankenbeckler back with part 2 of 8.07. Part 2 of 8.07, I'm just going to go through some examples. Okay, the first example I'm going to do is off of page 7 in the LMS. You've got a quadratic and you've got some points to test. You have actually 5 points. I'm going to show you how to do the first 2. Okay, here's your quadratic and you're trying to decide if that point negative 420 is in the shaded region. Now, if it's graphed, it's really easy to see. You just look for negative 4, positive 20, see if it's in the shaded region. But with the algebraic approach, you've actually got to plug and chug. So the first thing I'm going to do is plug in my 20 for y and negative 4 for x. And I'm going to plug in the negative 4 both here and here because I have 2 x's, minus 5. Okay, negative 4 squared is positive 16. Negative times a negative is a positive, minus 5. So I have 16 plus 8 is 24, minus 5 is 19. And is 19 less than 20? Yes, it is. Okay, so that means this point, negative 420, is in my shaded region. I'm going to do the same thing for the point negative 1 or positive 1, 4. Then I want you to pause the tape here and try it and see if you get the same answer, and then you're on your own for the other ones. Okay, so I'm going to put in 4 is greater than 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 5. So 1 minus 2 minus 5, negative 1 minus 5 is negative 6. Is negative 6 less than 4? The answer is yes. So that means that second point is also in the shaded region. So hopefully you got that one right, and you can go into this page 7 and practice some more of those. So the last part of what I wanted to do today is just work on some graphing and shading of quadratics. There are several examples in the LMS, but I want to do one more here. So let's try one more. What if I have y is greater than x squared minus 4x plus or minus 12, and that's my quadratic. Now I'm going to see where this is shaded. I'm going to slide this just a little closer so you guys can see it. Okay, the easiest way for me to graph this is I'm going to figure out what my roots are. Okay, if you can't factor it, remember you can always go back and use the quadratic formula. Now, it may not be beautiful answers, but you can figure out where the quadratic crosses the x-axis. Okay, the one I'm doing actually does factor. So, I asked myself what multiplies to 12 that has a difference of 4. What multiplies to 12 that has a difference of 4? Negative 6 and positive 2. So, they combine to the negative 4. They multiply to the negative 12. So, my two roots, or where it's going to cross the axis, is where x is 6 and where x is negative 2. Okay? So now I have the points where the roots where it crosses the axis. Now, since this is a greater than symbol, right, greater than, I'm not going to include those points. So when you go to do your number line, you've got negative 2 down here, positive 6 here, and 0 in here. I have my regions, don't I? And what you're going to do now is test your regions. You're going to have an open circle at 2 and an open circle at 6 because they're not included. Now I'm going to test the 0 first because that's an easy one to practice. If I put in 0 here, 0, 0 squared minus, oh wait a minute, I'm not actually testing a point here, am I? But I do know that that's where my roots are. I need to see if I shade above or below because I don't have a value, do I? So let me go over to the graph for a second and we'll graph it. We're graphing it at negative 2, positive 6. And when I go to graph it, I know that I have open circle. I know that my parabola is going to face up, and I can even find my vertex using negative b over 2a. So that's going to be positive 4 over 2. So 2, which is halfway between those, right? 2 squared minus 4 times 2 minus 12. So all I'm getting out is my y coordinate. 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Negative 4 minus 12 is negative 16. So I'm at 2, negative 16, way down here. 2, negative 16 is my vertex. So here is my dashed parabola. It's dashed because it's not equal to, it's just greater than. Now let's think about that. I've got a shade either above or out. So I need to test some points. The point 0, 0 is in the inside region. So that's the point that I'm actually going to test. So let's test the point 0, 0. So I'm going to go back into my quadratic and put a 0 here, put a 0 here, and put a 0 here. And 0 minus 0 minus 12 minus 12. Is negative 12 less than, is 0 greater than negative 12, or is negative 12 less than 0? Yes. So that means my shaded region is this section right there. There we go. And I have my shaded region because this point on the inside worked algebraically. Okay? Now, had I tested a point out here, then I would have shaded, and it worked, I would have shaded the outside of the region. So that's how you can test your regions. Which region am I shading between, or am I shading outside? So, that is a quick lesson on how to graph a quadratic inequality. Oh, your homework is page 310, 1 through 23 odd, and I'm sitting in the room helping you, so hopefully you'll get to work and come ask questions. Have a great day.